Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Raw Deal. It's me, the GREG, Greg the Sun, Mongo, the Youth, and Bushwagon since '92. Joined, of course, by our double champion. He is the Forever Intercontinental Champion. He is the Are You Fucking Serious Quiz Bowl Champion. He is Matty Reigns. Matt, how you doing today, brother?
What is up, everybody? Bit of a half and half weekend. We had a very, very great backlash, but the weekend ended on a sour note with us losing Sabu. But obviously, I am not going, as I told Greg when I got on here. It's obvious I am not attending WWE Raw tonight because the doors opened as of 6 o'clock and the show starts. Well, the first dark match is at 7:30. And the prices never went down. Where I like to sit at, they want $120, and unless I want to, they wanted $80 just to sit up with Jesus. And at my big age, I refuse to sit up with Jesus. I want to be able to see it. I want to, unless it's
those old school like binoculars you got to hold up by like a stick and just
like. After like my first WWF event, like my cousin bought us tickets to SmackDown, and he had us sitting with Jesus. And then like when my mom would buy me tickets, I would kind of be sitting with Jesus. And then when I started buying tickets like with my own money, I started like figuring out where I like to sit at. And I like sitting in the middle. I don't want to sit up close. I sat up close. Up close was cool. I sat up close during COVID. That was awesome because we all had masks on. So I ain't had to smell nobody. But
yeah, at this point, with the way tickets are now, I would not go to a WWE or AEW show unless it was a work related thing because those prices are nuts.
I wasn't even on Ticketmaster. This was just I went on SeatGeek, and like SeatGeek just tells you straight up, they're like, yeah, this seat is this much, but it's $40 of fees attached to it. So I'm like, oh, cool. The seat I want is $80, but all the extra damn fees in the world was extra. It was $40 of additional fees. So I was like, oh no, I'm good. Unless it's like I'll pay that money for NXT, but NXT hasn't been. They don't travel like that. I need them to come to Louisville though, because for that I will pay. I'll do the meet and greet. I'll be like, first of all, I shouldn't even be having to pay. I write this show.
Good God. So Matt's hanging out with us since he didn't go to Raw because it doesn't look like you're missing too much.
It really did. I'm like, it saves me. That's $100 and something I can save on bills.
There's a possibility you might miss a certain return, which we'll get into that in a second. But yes, it is. Oh, damn it! Before I can even do my intro, ladies and gentlemen, also joining us, main event Mike Ciampa.
I'm a person who is not champion.
The people's champ. What's up, Mike?
Yeah. Hey, first of all, if The Rock can create his own belt, damn it, so can I. So yeah,
that's essentially me with that's how I treat myself as if I am 1997 Shawn Michaels with the Euro World title with my two belts.
First of all, what's up, my brothers? How y'all doing?
What up?
What's going on, brother?
We got Kenesha, we got Tito, we got Mama Bush in the chat. What's up, Mama Bush? I hope you.
She pop up? Oh, she did. Hello, Mom, Mother. How you doing? We surprised you yesterday with a little Mother's Day.
And Mama hitting the nail on the head. $40 worth of fees.
Oh, she's heard me complain about it thousands of times.
The tickets I wanted, Mike, where I like to sit at in the middle, not in the front, not with Jesus, just in the middle. They wanted $120.
Mama Bush, you had a wonderful Mother's Day.
She did. Stop giving her a chance to say I did something wrong.
It was an $80 ticket, $40 worth of fees.
Yeah, Betty, that's my mom.
And, My brother's back in school. Officially starting today.
Yeah, man.
Dude.
Congratulations. How's it feel?
Yes.
It feels strange, but I'm ready for it. You know, most of my classes are online. I have to go to campus. Well, it's like, first of all, I'm in education, special education to be exact. And the way the summer class is set up, they got like a hybrid schedule, so it's split up into like 2 parts. So first part of my intro class, you know, I got to go to 4 lecture meetings on campus at Northern Kentucky University, which is right over the river. And then from there, I'll finish the rest online, and then I have fall semester. But I'm nervous. It's been a while, but I'm also excited, and we're going to get the job done this time. And because I got things to do, I got things I want to accomplish. You know, as I'm continuing to get older and mature. You know, and I'm excited, man. You know, I started out as a UC Bearcat. Now I am NKU Norse. For those of you who don't know what a Norse is a Viking.
It's a fancy way of saying Viking.
Viking.
They needed something to go with the Northern in Northern Kentucky.
Right, North.
Well,
Viking.
They could have been the Norberts.
That would have been a whole. That'd have been a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Before we get too far, though, before we talk about the news, real quick, we have an important announcement to make, and that is,
ladies and gentlemen, Mongo decided to mess around and win the prediction championship again.
That's right.
Our reigning and defending Reggie Simpson Memorial Predictions Champion, Gregory himself, Mongo.
Throw him up for Reggie, baby. This one's for you, brother.
That's not fair. You can't. That's not fair.
That's not fair. I feel like that was done before I did it. I ain't the first one to do that. But this one's genuine. This one's genuine. This is a genuine thing.
Damn it.
It's a genuine thing, man. I'm not
I know, but still cheating.
still cheating. That's right. Yeah, walked away with it, baby. It came down to tiebreakers. It was me, Mike, and Kenny in a 3-way tie. And I'll walk away with my goal. But yeah, let's get into some news. But I'm not going to hold you up too much longer on that. I'm just going to brag about it in all of our chats. We got Raw to talk about tonight. We got Backlash that we had to talk about over the weekend. But unfortunately, we're going to go and start with the most depressing news of the week. Sabu has passed away.
Yeah.
Mere weeks after retiring.
Yeah, he just had his who was it? Joey Janela, I think, at one of the GCW events. Legendary ECW wrestler, legendary deathmatch wrestler. Sabu and Ike, the suicidal, homicidal, genocidal Sabu passed away at the age of 60. I believe they didn't really. I don't think they specified what day it was, but yeah, his valet passed away a few years ago as well. So I know that, like, I remember seeing him reacting to that and how like tough that was. When he came back out on the other side, and he ended up doing a lot of great stuff in the past few years. Sabu is one of those wrestlers where, I'm not sure how to say this correctly. You don't need to be perfect inside that ring to get over, you know? Sabu inspired a lot of wrestlers. He pretty much changed wrestling. The Dudleys get a lot of credit for making tables popular, but really it was Sabu. Sabu was the first one to start putting people through tables. moonsaults onto tables, leg drops, all that stuff. That was a Sabu thing. So when you look at hardcore matches like that, when you look at anything like a barbed wire death match, it's Sabu. Where he may not have created the thing, but he is so synonymous with these things. The first thing you think of when you look at, TNA just had the barbed wire massacre a few weeks ago. First person I think of when I hear that is Sabu, because Sabu also had a barbed wire match in TNA with Abyss.
Was that dude, like, when I started out watching wrestling, obviously, like, I was lucky to be watching some Attitude Era, but even I knew ECW was a no-no. Like, I am never going to be able to watch, like, this is worse than Attitude Era. This is definitely, like, my mom is not letting me see this, not letting me watch this. So, like, even when it would come on, I didn't know what I was watching, but it was the tail end of ECW anyway, when it was on TNN. But, like, he was that dude that, like, you would see clips about him, and you're like, you would see clips, you would see promos, and you're just like, this dude is a wrestler? Like, he was almost like a comic book character come to life. Like, the stuff that he was doing in the ring and the damage, like, when they, like, his name, the description of him made sense, like the homicidal, genocide, death-defying Sabu. Like, when they brought back, people hate that WWECW. I loved it, the beginning of it. Like, unfortunately, Chris Benoit had to kill people. Like, he did what he did. But, like, outside, take away that was some good ass wrestling, and it got to introduce Sabu to the mainstream audience, because I didn't get to see Sabu in ECW when him and Rob Van Dam were at their peak, but I got to see just a little bit of it in TNA. I got to see a little bit of it in that ECW until they got pulled over in Columbus, Ohio, for smoking weed.
Smoking the devil's lettuce.
Yeah.
I can't think of many other drug substances that have ruined a title run.
And it's
always marijuana for some reason. It's always weed.
I will never forget that, because that made the big local news in Columbus. They're like, pro wrestlers pulled over, and I'm like, oh, I pulled over. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, Rob Van Dam and Sabu. And the officer is like, so you guys are like wrestlers? One of them said, we're wrestlers, so just let us go. He's like, wrestlers? You mean like that WWF stuff? And he's like, Rob Van Dam was like, yeah, I'm like the champ. And I'm like, yeah, you ain't about to be champ.
Your days are numbered as champ, pal.
I think it's funny that,
they showed that like Monday night, he lost that title to either John Cena or Edge in a triple threat match. Edge, and then the next night on ECW, he lost the ECW title to Big Show. And then he was suspended for weed.
Came off one of the most exciting championship wins and runs to that. It was weird. Yeah. It's so funny that, like, you talk about seeing that when we all saw the footage, because even down here, the news was these two major wrestlers from the WWE, from Vince McMahon's WWE, were pulled over, and it showed Rob Van Dam first, and I was like, marijuana. It's weed. It's
they don't even, like, Sabu just gives like a sentence. They don't even mention Sabu being there. Sabu was like, yeah, we got weed, and let's go.
But yeah, Sabu was a very big innovator. I think you can see his fingerprints all over wrestling today. He was also, I think people don't really understand it, because it's kind of like Hogan, where, like, you didn't see him do the other kind of wrestling. He was trained to be like a technician, which is strange, because when you watch him like do mat wrestling as Sabu, he doesn't really do it. And apparently the whole idea is that Sabu would purposely botch a spot because he'd like to see the fans react to it, because he thinks he's getting one over on them. or he thought he was getting one, which is very funny, and that's a very Sabu thing to do. Yeah, man, it's especially he's not in the Hall of Fame yet, in the WWE Hall of Fame. He's in other Hall of Fames. And I know the idea is like you don't want to bring in anybody that was under that branding because like Balls Mahoney is not going to the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? But Sabu kind of led the charge on what ECW became and genuinely changed wrestling. Was a big spark for ECW, which was very important for the Monday Night Wars. He changed how things ended up.
Yeah.
You describe him, I would essentially call him, he's basically the Pete Rose of wrestling. Like Pete Rose was controversial, but he inspired a lot of baseball players, both not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And probably are going to get put in now that they're dead.
I guarantee Sabu goes in like this year or this next year. He's going.
They might as well. They already like you got New Jack is dead. You can start an ECW wing. Like there's ways of doing this if they don't want to just put him in individually. New Jack has passed. Now you got Sabu. You can just say like, hey, all these members of the ECW brand, we're just going to induct the whole ECW into this. There's a way of doing it, but I honestly feel like they honestly really need to just put them both in separately. Sabu especially, like Sami Zayn even said it yesterday. He's like, I was stomping hard for Sabu to get inducted into the Hall of Fame, and now he's died, and he's just like, I still want him in the Hall of Fame, but it's like he should have already been in there. But even he felt like Sabu himself felt like, oh, they're not going to put me in until I'm probably dead anyway, which is sad. I hate when they say stuff like that.
Yeah, I know. Sabu was never one to shy away from explaining how he felt. There's this tweet going around of Stephanie talking about happy to have Triple H with her while her mom was I think the first time she was trying to get into office and at the RNC or whatever. And Sabu QT'd it and just said gross. He's just like, that's Sabu. He's kind of not shy on how he feels about anybody.
I remember seeing Sabu as a kid, like as a little kid, just randomly just scrolling. I think it was on TNN at the time. And I'm like, what is this? It ain't WWF. It ain't WCW. What is ECW? Oh, he just threw somebody through a chair. Oh, he just jumped off the barricade into the crowd. Oh, they chanted, what are they chanting? ECW. Oh, I like this. Like Matt said, I had no business watching ECW. I liked it. I liked it a lot. And you know how, like, in today's format, today's realm of wrestling, you got AEW, you have WWE, and then right in the middle, you got TNA. That was ECW back then. That was the original TNA.
Yeah.
WCW, WWF, right in this little pocket right here. ECW. That was very creative, very innovative, extremely different. And that's what drew me to ECW. And seeing Sabu, one of the first things that came to my mind as a kid was, oh, this dude's crazy.
Yeah.
He is extremely crazy. I'm like, oh my God, he almost broke his neck again. So, yeah, man, Sabu is one of the most innovative wrestlers of all time. I've like just from watching him as a kid and watching this stuff, you know, as an adult, man, I always enjoyed watching Sabu work because you talk about reckless abandon and just doing it for us as wrestling fans. It don't get no more dedicated than that. Like he just literally wrestled his last match a couple weeks ago. putting his 60-year-old body through barbed wire and all that type of shit. Same shit he was doing in the 90s.
And still was looking all right, dude. Like we were talking about the footage in our chat when it came around. Like, damn, he's still kind of better than you think he would at that age, you know, with all because he you talk about people that went through a lot of stuff and probably had a lot of pain and a lot of things. Sabu, that man sliced his bicep open, middle of a match, barbed wire match, I think, and taped it back together to keep wrestling. Like, he was insanely tough, but that means he put his body through a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. And to still see him do that was cool. And it was cool because we got to see a wrestler go out on their own end, still able to kind of give you what they always want to. And I'm glad he got that moment before he passed away. I wish the WWE would have honored him, but I think like Matt said, probably an ECW win would definitely help. I think when it comes to ECW, like wrestlers that'll get him without them doing that, it's like Sabu, Rob Van Dam, who's already in it, the Dudleys who are already in it, maybe Sandman if they really want to do something with it, but like he didn't really do much outside of like I think he won the ECW championship once, but like even Raven wasn't like very important to ECW, but like outside of that, you know what I mean?
Because it's essentially because in the Hall of Fame realm of things, it's the WWE Hall of Fame. But when you think about everything, WWE, y'all have bought, like, y'all just got MLW. Well, not MLW. Sorry, MLW. Not
AAA.
AAA. I was watching that stupid ass video of the Good Brothers.
I haven't gotten MLW yet, but hey, you never know.
Oh, they showed up. Yeah, they tried. Yeah, they showed up in Maple Leaf Pro. That's what MLP, Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. They already earned a check. They getting Canadian bucks already. But yeah, it's like WWE has bought so many people. It makes more sense to just like make either an ECW wing or at least like that could save you a lot of time instead of like trying to be like, what big name WWE person can we induct this year? Go after a big name ECW person. Go after a big name WCW person because before WCW got bought, they had a Hall of Fame. None of us really knew about it, but they had one. Like, there's ways of incorporating these other brands into the WWE Hall of Fame that they just are lazy about it. Like, yeah, like Sabu can go in alone. You can have a year where it's like, hey, this could be an ECW themed Hall of Fame. It should have been last year. They did Paul. But it's like there's ample opportunity. There's a lot of wrestlers that are alive currently where you could let them get their flowers now that wasn't like primarily a WWE name.
Yeah. It's yes, there is, Cookies. We I think I always my you don't want to like give a target, but considering he just got named in that recent lawsuit, I'll say it. Coco Beware obviously is one where you're like, all right, he's in, I guess.
Yeah, Cookies is the nail on the head. There's a lot of people in there where it's just like you was all right, but Michelle McCool, like you was cool.
But like them bringing people that weren't ever in the WWE and they're talking about their like legacy. Like Sabu's got legacy. Sabu, and there are many wrestlers that are like Sabu is my favorite wrestler ever. I got into this because of Sabu. Janela, especially, I think he did say that after the match. Like, this is my favorite wrestler of all time. To me, he's the greatest of all time, and he's not going to be on my Mount Rushmore. But I think Sabu is a great example of you can be unforgettable and you can be undeniable and you can be special without having the things that the bigger corporations think you need to have. Because he didn't have the height. He didn't have the size. He was unorthodox as hell. And he's to this day, one of the most popular wrestlers around. I mean, everybody, like if you ask any wrestling fan, they know who Sabu is.
Paul Heyman got the rest of us to see what he saw.
Yeah. You can always sit back and wonder, like, what happens if they don't get caught there on that day? What happens if ECW goes as it's supposed to go? You know, what were they going to do? I don't know if that brand was going to last as long as it did, but
like I heard another rumor, another what if someone brought up on Twitter yesterday. It's just essentially saying, what if WCW never went under because apparently Sabu was supposed to get like this big time deal to go to WCW, but Paul Heyman like did something behind his back and screwed him over, and then like a few months later WCW goes on. It was almost kind of like when AJ Styles showed up in WCW, but they literally went under a couple weeks later. He showed up as a rookie. But that's another great what if you brought up. Like, what if they just don't get caught? Like, how long is RVD's run? Like, does Sabu eventually end up winning some gold? Because he doesn't do anything primary. He just shows up in ECW.
No, he was gone after I think after that next Mania, maybe a little bit longer, but
he has that WrestleMania match, but like he never gets any title shots. He stays in WWECW, and then a whole bunch of other stuff happens with Mr. Benoit, and then that brand essentially gets put on super pause because it was fire. Because at one point, that ECW brand was like NXT. They had Kurt Angle on there, who would be like when they put Finn on NXT. Yeah. Like, oh shit, they got Kurt Angle on WWE. They got Kurt Angle on ECW.
And it was weird. It was very weird. He knew it was weird, which is why he didn't like going there. It was very strange. I don't know, man. It's I do hate that they always wait till someone dies if they're like a controversial name. Because then they put them in like, oh, we always had love for him. Like, no. It's like when Ultimate Warrior died, like Tito was saying.
This weekend, because it's like
Warrior died.
We remember Sabu. It's like, do you? Do you really?
We'll
do you really?
We'll see what they say tonight. If they just do the little graphic at the front, or if they have like.
This is why I'm tired. Last time wrestling came here for a show, it was SmackDown, who had just passed away, Bray, and now they coming to here again. Who just passed? Sabu. No, I'm good.
I'm starting to think they need to stay out of your state, Matt.
As soon as they come here, somebody about to die. Nah.
I feel like your state's cursed.
Is that a sign? We ain't trying to step foot in that KFC Yum Center.
Absolutely not.
As soon as they announce it, so we got who we got to watch out for? Rick, protect Rick, y'all.
Right,
Rick.
But yeah. So rest in peace, Sabu. Godspeed, brother. I'm sure you're up there with Funk right now, having a hell of a fight.
I saw what Batty said. She said her brother used to hit the Sabu pose every time he dunked on her. Damn.
Brutal. That's brutal. Let's talk about Backlash.
It was good PLE, if that's what they want to call it.
It felt honestly, this could have been Saturday Night's main event.
Right. Like they really need to go back to if they want to go retro so bad and go nostalgia on stuff, bring back In Your House. Some of these shows could honestly just be called In Your House.
Yeah, we don't need to have. Remember the Backlash main event of 2025? No, not really. No, I forgot that show happened.
Hey, welcome to WWE In Your House Backlash.
It was a show. I mean, it wasn't I guess it wasn't the worst thing around.
It felt like it was just an extended SmackDown. That's what they really feel like when it's a Friday. Like you just watch 3 hours worth of SmackDown, and then they're like, "Oh, here's another 2.5 hours the next night." It's like, well, I guess this is just Saturday SmackDown. That's how it kind of felt like. Oh, this is just Saturday 7 o'clock SmackDown on Peacock.
Start off with Jacob Fatu defending the U.S. title against LA Knight, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre. And since Cookies brought it up, yeah, that's exactly what happened. We got a new Bloodline member, the debuting Jeff Cobb.
My man said he retired. Wink, wink. He even said, "Thank y'all, all y'all's thoughts and prayers for me and the well wishes during my retirement. But you know, I got lost along the way, and I'm now here at WWE. Because I got lost, and I showed up at the arena. So thank you." I'm like, we knew you weren't going nowhere. We knew your podcast wasn't going nowhere.
Yeah, we knew he wasn't retired. I mean, like we've known the Jeff Cobb thing for months.
I was looking at him
showing up,
and then we postponed the draft. Like, good, because y'all just adding people to the draft pool at the very 0.0.01 seconds left on the clock, and y'all over here, Jeff Cobb. Like, no, stop.
Oh my God! But yeah, Jeff Cobb shows up. Jacob Fatu doesn't look too excited about it, but because
he's like, I know who he is. Why? Yeah. He's not one of us. Yes, he is.
Jeff Cobb and Jacob Fatu about to have a hell of a match whenever they finally split.
I saw people arguing about that on Twitter. Like, he ain't even Samoan. He's Pacific Islander. Close enough. It's all the same.
That's their cousins.
Right.
I'm gonna let you know a little secret. The Rock's granddaddy and the other person that did that blood, right. Yeah, they're not really related by blood. Yeah, it's a blood pact. That mean they're actually related.
The Rock mom was adopted by Peter Maivia. Married the Rock's dad. She is of no relation to Peter Maivia. She is adopted. He is technically not in family. But we don't say that. We ignore all that. We just be like, we love you, Final Boss. Why aren't you here? Why are you selling shirts in Vegas? It's finally you're returning. You didn't even show up.
Damage that man's gonna do is crazy. Yeah. For real, yeah, for real. Like it's not as intertwined and connected as they make you out to believe. It's
yeah, when I found that out, it was the Rock's mom was adopted by Peter Maivia and his wife, and she grew up with them, and then he treated her as if that was his daughter, like he should have. She met the Rock. She met Rocky Johnson. Boom, boom, boom. They had the Rock, and then they're like, "Oh, the Rock is Peter Maivia's grandson." Yeah, through adoption, he is like, "Oh yeah, this is my grandson." He's not really his grandson. He's someone's grandson.
Look, it's close enough. It counts.
It's close enough. It's like adoption at this point. It is what it is. It's just like Tama and Haku.
Oh yeah. I don't even think
my adopted dad.
Are either of them actually Haku's kid?
I think the one that we all say is Ass is his actual son, but Tama isn't. Because I listened to a podcast and Tama was like, yeah, they just basically his Haku's wife saw that he was in a bad situation and was like, I want him. I think I can save him out of this situation. So she just took him and didn't say nothing to Haku. So that's the one person who could tell Haku what to do. The wife. Happy Mother's Day.
So
the woman that can get Haku in control.
Yeah, Tongaloa is his real son. Hikuleo and Tama are his adopted sons.
Okay.
And he has another one that doesn't wrestle. Okay. All right. So yeah. It's fine. Don't get too is he really it doesn't matter. It's not important. We're far past that match.
Bronson match. He is the replacement Bronson.
Yeah. Yeah, essentially, pretty much. Yeah, if Bronson didn't get hurt, maybe he'd be in that spot right now. You really don't know.
Bronson tweeted that he's like, "Oh, what up? What up, big fellow, big meaty man?" What?
But yeah, so Fatu retains. Pretty fun match.
Man, fuck that. Somebody got put through a barricade. They got put over a barricade.
I had to go back and watch to make sure because I was like, if nobody went through a barricade, then I think
I went to WWE hashtag WWE Backlash and put in barricade, and all I kept seeing was Priest over, Priest over. I'm like, really? He couldn't go through it, even though I could go through the barricade. Fuck that match too.
Next up was Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch.
Good match. Shout out to Bird Woman. Her draft stock up. That's what I'm talking about, Bird Woman.
She looked incredible, man.
Had her fiance in the crowd. That's right. You better support your Bird Woman.
People haven't given that man shit all
I was looking at him like, oh, that's her fiance, and left it at that. And because I was like, I don't know why people getting on dude. Like, hey, shout out the Bird Woman. You got you someone. Shout out to him. You got you Bird Woman. That's all. I don't care what he did. I found out he a wrestler. Cool. 100%, 200% too. More power to you. Like, that's how I keep my fandom at sometimes with folks. I don't need to know all the ins and outs. Like, if someone didn't tell me that was her fiance, I would just be like, that's a regular old white boy in the crowd. Like, that's a fan. That's a random fan.
It's very because it's like usually they don't really know, they didn't really say it if they're not someone they're trying to like get after, you know?
Yeah.
Like when Adam Cole was in NXT and Britt Baker is in the audience, they weren't like wrestler Britt Baker. They're like, oh, there's Adam Cole's girlfriend. Say hi, wave, you know. So it's interesting that they focused on that so much. This was a good match, but Becky did all that cheating to lose. It's one of those things where like the Becky turn. I don't know if we're going to really be able to give it a proper grade until we're done with it. Really, you know?
It was the way that, like, I love that match. It was a good ass match. Great ass match.
A technical match, man. It was like, that was a great intercontinental match.
Yeah. Like the way it ended for everything for Becky's character at the moment, this heel character, they're like, well, what the fuck was like? What was the point of you being? What's the point of this turn? Because you've already got your comeuppance. Like, not only did you get destroyed on Raw, because she beat you up, then you tried to talk trash, then she came back and beat you up, and then she beat you at the PLE. And then looking at this from a fantasy, like just from fantasy booking and us playing the fantasy game, it's like, yeah, Lyra, you got your draft stock up, but you ain't about to trick me. You ain't about to trick me because you gonna get drafted. Somebody gonna draft you, and that's when you gonna mess around and lose that to someone we ain't expecting, or you just gonna lose it. We still got a book for Saturday night's main event, even though they acting like it doesn't exist for this month because they're on. Like I told Greg before we went live, WWE's YouTube page is all on the road to Money in the Bank. They're talking about Money in the Bank. They're talking about cash-ins and people cashing in on the same night.
It's because the 24th is when we're doing Saturday night's main event, right?
Yeah.
So that is 2 weeks. That's not this Saturday, but next Saturday. Outside of the Jay and
we got
Logan
Jay
match,
and Logan.
Do we have anything else for that show? I think it's just Jay and Logan.
We'll probably go to. Apparently, we're going to get John Cena versus R-Truth, but.
Oh my God, that doesn't. You don't know. You don't have to do the match. You don't need to do the match. Him turning on Truth. He should have turned on Truth on a show instead of the post-backlash talk.
The placement for everything for a lot of these moments has just been weird. Like Becky should have turned at Mania.
Mm-hmm.
Like she didn't. She returned at Mania. She should have returned and turned. She should have literally returned at Mania.
She could have returned and screwed Bailey or something.
Yeah,
or whatever.
There's ways of doing this, but no, she got they had usually when we see the champion get the upper hand on Raw. That's like, oh, they losing. But no, she won. So now it's like, so when is Becky going to get her moment? Because the heel, if you think about this in just logical wrestling terms, at some point the heel has to get the upper hand to be standing on top. And Becky hasn't gotten that moment yet. That's why I'm like, Lyra, you improved your draft stock, but you setting someone up for failure. Because it's been Lyra is all heavily pushing onto the Lyra side. And Becky ain't got nothing. All she is she's a bad person. Boom.
Pretty much. Like I have never seen someone turn like that and then get nothing out of it. I mean, I'm glad Lyra won. Lyra really needed like a big win with that belt.
Yeah.
Give like an established, because she should have had that one-on-one match at Mania instead of throwing away the tag title match. I'm glad Lyra won it because Becky didn't need it. But also, like, what the fuck are we doing with Becky? What's Becky? What's the deal? What's the plan here?
He's asking about Evolution 2. I was on the fence about it being actually.
Nothing is happening yet.
Apparently, there's some Fanatics is hiring for sales associates in Atlanta.
Yeah, that is happening. Yeah,
because that's how I was like, oh, then it must be happening. Because I'm like, they wouldn't be. They try to hire people now in May, and it's happening in June, July. Oh,
it would be in June. But
because I was like you, Greg, oh, it's not happening. Then I saw they're hiring for people. Oh, I'm going to work, but
the thing is, they've done that, and then nothing came of it before. We used to know a guy that was in that worked in like the warehouse. They do merchandise.
Oh yeah,
and he tells us, yeah, here's some cool shirts they're doing that we never saw. Like. Many times he's like, yeah, this is something they're trying out. Didn't happen. Even though we saw it, didn't happen. You know? So
he gave us Y2AJ.
And we got Y2AJ. So like right now, there's nothing official from any place that's reporting it. It's been discussed, but there's no big talk. They should have done it a long time ago, honestly. But
yeah, they got more than enough women. They fired too many. They fired one of my women, one of my angels, Jakara. Like he had more than enough time to have a really properly booked Evolution 2, because you could have featured the women's tag titles and you could have had Lash and Jakara win the tag titles on there for NXT. But I don't know, that's too much to ask.
Could have like a battle royal to determine someone's challenger. Like this, you could have filled out a lot.
You got 2 world championships that aren't stupidly named anymore. You just got the
2 of those 3 mid-card titles.
Queen of the Ring.
Yeah.
And a lot of things, and like especially with all 3 brands, you can easily book that again. Hell, you can even do fantasy matchup, just one-offs. It don't have to.
Greg said that the unnamed battle royal could get a name.
Yeah, because it was originally the
China battle royal. Hey.
Something. Well, we had like the Mae Young tournament. We can do like
You can bring the Mae Young tournament.
Yeah, bring the tournament back. The winner gets a shot at whatever title at Evolution 2. Boom. It writes itself with how many things they can do.
Evolution 2, NXT women. Y'all can fight in the Mae Young Classic. Main roster, Queen of the Ring. The top 2 contenders in NXT, y'all could be a wild card to the main roster to the Queen of the Ring. You could be the wild card to represent NXT in the Queen of the Ring tournament. The rest of y'all gonna be fighting for the Mae Young Classic, or you can put the Mae Young Classic into a ball. There's so many ways and so many women, but even before they fired the 25, But we're trying to give them ways to try to do it even now. But they ain't gonna do
You
it.
could have had it before you split up 15
Right.
tag teams. You could have had a tag team tournament across 3 brands. Like there are things they should have done. Evolution. We should have had Evolution 2, 3, and 4 already. Honestly,
Yeah.
it doesn't need to be an every year deal because I don't think that company, when they start booking things like this is an every year thing, that's when we got Hell in a Cell as a pay per view, and those started to suck. You know, that started to get terrible. The Money in the Bank pay per views are almost always bad, except for like every now and then a war title match is okay, and then sometimes the Money in the Bank matches are great. Sometimes they're not. But like that doesn't need its own pay per view. You know, King and Queen. They have the King and Queen of the Ring pay per view, which is like the semifinals and the finals. That's cool. It doesn't have to have its own show.
Nope.
But you can put all those things into Evolution. They definitely need it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe after China, like Matt said, that's a layup. That's a layup of a swap. No one will ever question that.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll finally get over the people going, oh, they don't want to represent China. Just
I would say that's the great way to soft launch to get China eventually into the Hall of Fame. Hey, we're naming the Battle Royal after her. And then slowly but surely, we'll forget about. You keep highlighting her wrestling career, then that way, all her other stuff won't even be popping up on her Google when you Google her.
Honestly, if you Google her now, that shouldn't.
It's not. Even if you Google her now, wrestling comes up.
Like I'll Google it right now to prove a point.
The only people, to be honest, the only people who will bring that up consistently is jackasses on the internet.
Yeah.
That's all.
Like the first page here, nothing right, at all. Even in like the Wikipedia little clip thing they have, like it says like adult actress, but it doesn't like say, you know, that sometimes they do porn star. They didn't say what her things are. That's the only thing you'd see is maybe you'd see that. But you know, originally the thing was like, oh, if you Google her, what are you gonna see? You're not gonna see shit.
And rightfully,
you're gonna see her career.
Right.
And that should be highlighted. And that what should be highlighted.
And most people have an understanding now of, man, that was somebody preying on her. She was hurt. They was just exploiting her. Like that's what a lot of that was. That was just exploitation on someone.
She was in a bad spot.
Like she wasn't in the right frame of mind. She was angry at wrestling, and she just felt like she just did that. Like that. That's why I feel like it should be something that should just be a footnote, and it really shouldn't pop up. Now, Sonny, on the other hand,
that's a different story. Yeah,
right.
Like China, because they still talk about China even today. Like, oh, the Ninth Wonder. Oh, she was so strong, and they show that like Enters at Mania where she had the gun going off.
Oh yeah, they should be my interest on No Mercy.
If y'all are this okay with just showing her now, put her in. I promise you, no one, your grandchildren, your children aren't going to Google China and see your titties. It's not going to happen. It's not going to. Partly because Google is very knowing, as far as someone that like works on a website and has to like understand how Google works. They actively like try to hide anything that might be adult oriented, unless you like do specific searches. So like even if that wasn't even happening back when he said that, if you Google China the day he was like, what happens if you Google China? You get a career, because I tested it then. Now especially, you're not seeing that shit. So just put her in.
Yeah,
just put her in.
Google, Google's doing the right thing. Although
that's a very complicated subject, but it's
so harder to see some things that I like. But
it's just, I don't know. The longer she goes without getting her own thing, the more it does feel personal. Mm-hmm. And like Matt said, when she was going through all that, she was going through a lot of issues with how she got treated on the way out.
Right.
Because she basically just got like screwed over, cheated on, tossed on her ass by this company she loved. And Sean Waltman was not in a good way at all when they did their thing. Like,
right.
Sean Waltman talks about that stuff a lot. Like, that is a guy that has come a long way in, like, and China even did that. China was like, by the time she had passed away, she had gotten over her thing. She was even proud of everything she'd done, adult career included. Like, she was not shying away from any of it. She's a very positive role model.
Yeah.
But because they are afraid of this one little thing, they don't talk about it as much as they should. And it's sad.
For women that are like 30 years old or younger, basically, that's like outside of Trish Stratus, but like China was that she was mommy. Like she was mommy, just like we look at Rhea Ripley. That's like
you're clearly doing an homage to Eddie China.
Right. So, like she was I have my Latino Heat Eddie and China shirt, and like the first thing, like when I told Deirdre I watched wrestling, she's like, "Oh, I remember watching that back in the day. I remember Eddie and China. I used to love China, and she used to fight the boy." And I'm like, "See, I'm like, for a lot of people that are 30 years old and younger, they remember China for her going in there and fighting the men. She ain't give a damn." Like it would be like we felt like kind of just like, oh, now she fighting women. Okay, I guess. Hey, this ain't gonna take too long. I want to see her fight Stone Cold. I want to see her. Fight Stone Cold. I want to see her fight no Ivory. Like when she went to that was like,
yeah.
And the Continental Championship. Why do I care that you win this title? You want a man's title.
I want to see you kick Perry right in the Saturns. We don't want to see you go in on it. Cookie says, shit, all those women doing OnlyFans before showing up, like y'all said, a certain juggernaut's jugger anus, Jesus, was out there. She's constantly. That's the thing is, they clearly have a different opinion on it now. Like, you can't do it while you're with a company. But if you got shit out there that can be found, but you're not doing it anymore, they don't care. So
let's keep it a buck, okay? What they were doing back then was just a shade under porn.
Yes.
Porn.
And it was just
penny matches.
They were just exporting them then, but they all it was they were able to financially gain off of it. Yeah. All they get mad is, we can't financially gain off of this anymore. And now we can't financially gain off of this anymore because we are a PG company. That's where it really became. We have steered away from TV 14 and we are now TV PG. So we can't say we like this stuff. We can't say we flaunt this stuff anymore because it doesn't follow what we promote anymore. But I'm pretty sure if it was still TV 14, turn up.
Exactly, because think about it. To what I just said. All that shit that those women were doing, their foot was on the doorstep. China just so happened to walk through the goddamn door. That's the only difference. When we see Trish and we see Stacy Keibler and all that, they were doing all that shit on the porch, to say the least.
Those years, you think about it, would be wild. For like 5 to 6 years, you had Sable, you had Tori Wilson, you had Sable again, you had China, because they would for me, they would hype up those episodes on Raw, like, it's the cover reveal. And me, I want to see a naked woman, but at the same time, it's like, I don't really want to see y'all. You know what I mean? Like, I see y'all naked. I basically see y'all naked every week. What you mean I need to go to this book to see y'all actually naked? Nah, I'm good.
They had a whole segment where Edge and Lita were fucking.
There's a lot of sex celebration. And her titty came out.
So yeah, it's all hypocritical bullshit. It really is. I'm pretty sure. Like, I think we can all just say it. We don't personally know anybody involved, but it feels like a personal thing between somebody and somebody else, because it can't be anything else.
That's exactly what it was, Mongo. You had personal animosities, and unfortunately, it blackballed her. It pushed her out the door.
It was essentially Because all her hurt and everything came down to basically how she got treated once it became apparent that Triple H and Stephanie were going to be a thing. She was dating Triple H at one point in time. Like when I started watching wrestling, Triple H and Chyna were not only were they paired in the ring, they were dating. And then Triple H broke off and he started, like when he was fooling around with Stephanie and all that. And when that happened, that's when they started dating in real life. And then they ended up falling in love and got married. And Chyna apparently said, like, well, that's when they all kind of turned on me. That's when they pushed me out the door. I don't know what happened, but I can see that happening. Like, you need to get your old work out of here. But
Cookies, brother. Calm down. Please. I can't post either of those comments anyway. I can't. Simmer down a little bit, bro. Just please.
But if
Good God. No.
yeah.
But I can't put it on the screen, but he's correct.
Bang bang.
All right. Okay, Batty. Come on, man. Come on. But no. Matt, yeah, I don't know.
Hold up.
All right.
Did the Mavs just really win the fucking number one pick?
Huh?
What?
What?
No fucking way. Did they really?
Or Bob? I think they did because I'm seeing people saying this shit is rigged.
So everybody get American Luca. Wow.
Did it really?
Yes.
Yeah. What the?
Yes.
Ain't no.
They had a 1.8% chance of winning. How?
That is, you know what? Sometimes I'm like, all right, y'all get a little bit too crazy on saying sports is rigged. That is rigged. There's no way that ain't rigged. That's insane.
That's crazy. Yeah, that is, man. Oh, never mind.
That's stupid. That's so stupid. Oh my God.
Got the Lakers luck apparently now.
Yeah, they about to get American Luca and Cooper Flag.
He said he's crashing the fuck
out. Nico over here like, yeah, that's why that's this motherfucker. We've been talking shit about this dude since February. Like, oh, you an idiot. You traded Luka to the Lakers. The Lakers gonna look great in the end. You a dumbass. You an idiot. 1.8% odds of getting the number one pick. That will be Cooper Flag out of Duke. They're going to get the number one pick. They're going to get Cooper Flag with a healthy AD, with a healthy Kyrie Irving in the Western Conference, while the Lakers we got Luka though. We're gonna be over here like we got Luka. Like Mike said, y'all just got younger Luka. Y'all just got a new Luka.
Yep.
Hey,
Jesus.
Nico
out here looking like a genius now.
Nah, he was over there sucking Adam Silver's dick. That's what he's doing.
David Starr, what the fuck is?
Let's quickly get through the rest of Backlash before we can get on to Raw, because we got on a crazy tangent there. Dominic Mysterio defeats Penta to retain the championship. Grande Americano interferes, so we're gonna see that feud, which is, it's gonna be a good match.
Mm-hmm.
That's really, what else can you say? Gunther defeats Pat McAfee, chokes him out. Does anybody here know how long this match went? Because considering it was one of our tiebreakers.
9 minutes. No, that went longer than 9 minutes.
Longer than 9 minutes because
it went 12.
My time was 10:45. As long as it went over that, I was fine. I cleared that by 3 minutes and 15 seconds. It was 14 minutes.
God damn. Yeah, that
It was the second shortest match on the show, if that means anything.
Sure.
You know, Lyra and Becky were 18, so Lyra and Becky had the second longest match.
Damn.
So
I like that. Lyra and Becky was good.
I was like they evened out the matches somewhat, and we're between 12 to 20 minutes, I guess.
Until the end when it's always a 30-minute match. Yeah, John Cena beats Randy Orton. We knew that was happening. I don't know what that ending was about. I don't know why Cena was looking at Randy like he was sad with himself.
With that fuck ass, I hated that ending. That was a good ass match. R-Truth, like I understood why R-Truth interfered, because for weeks we've seen R-Truth still act like John Cena. He's just still been John Cena's number one fan, regardless of him turning heel or not. And he took his number one fandom to the point of he wanted his GOAT to still win, and he took a punt. And after the show, that's good. That's honestly the highlight of that whole after show or whatever, post show. R-Truth came out there while John Cena was talking and said, like, hey, you know, I'm always gonna be your fan. And John Cena was like, hey, you can say one more word to me, I'm gonna hurt you. And R-Truth shuts up. But like I was saying, I've been your number one. What? Attitude adjustment for the table. Like, I told you I was gonna hurt you. I'm just like, oh my God, John. Why? Because this is an unnecessary match. Because now I'm looking at it like, we got all these dates. We only got X amount of dates, and we wasting one of them on this. I love R-Truth. It's nothing against R-Truth. We just wasting a date on this.
Well, I think we all wanted the Truth Cena moment. It just didn't need to involve that match. And you could have just had this on Raw. Have Truth come out while after Cena gets his win and he's still doing his same old heel shtick. Truth comes out. It plays the exact same way. And just get it on television, or you get it on Netflix, as opposed to the press show, which is getting faker and faker by the minute. It's you remember at first when they were just like, yeah, they're gonna have you can talk to all the wrestlers about what they think, and they would half kayfabe it and half like give you real answers. Now it's just Triple H and The Rock are gonna say everything's fake.
Right.
Every wrestler's gonna try and say that it's real, and it's like, all right, that was pointless. I have not seen a press show be worth looking at ever since Punk beat the shit out of the Bucks or whatever hell happened on that night. That's the last time a post pay-per-view press show was worth a damn. Ever since, they've just been, for AEW, WWE, whatever your fucking promotion is, they're pointless. I love them in like an actual sports. We've tried it here. Y'all clearly can't figure the formula out because it's mostly, you know what I think part of the issue is? A lot of people probably have questions they would like to ask, then they can't ask them.
And a lot on top of that, like the post game show makes more sense. This is the downside of them being a TKO. They try to make everything like the other. Like in UFC, a post game show makes sense. Yeah, because it's not predetermined. It's not a predetermined sport. Y'all are going to actually have stuff to like react to. Unfortunately, like I know them at the desk, they are not informed on what's going to happen, and it plays out in front of them. But we don't need a post game like press conference or any of that. Like Dana White ain't about to be out there. We don't get to hear from Dana White half the time after UFC 1,000,002. But we got to hear from Triple H after every PLE, and it's the same bullshit. Hey, bro,
and he opens everyone and he closes everyone. Like Triple H, he is spent the past, I want to say probably a year and a half sucking himself off. And it peaked at Mania when we did the Hall of Fame, and then
They had to remind us that Triple H
and
was
the
a wrestler.
headliner, Triple H, yeah.
He's a wrestler.
We just spent 40 minutes of this show recapping Hall of Fame and giving him an entrance. Was it really that big of a no? We really didn't need to do that. It drives me nuts. It's like it's what we thought Tony Khan was doing. Like, man, Tony Khan loves to hear himself talk. No, Paul loves to hear himself talk. Tony Khan's just out there to answer questions. He might not give you an answer, but shit, you can ask a question. That's what would make them interesting. When there's a controversy, ask a damn question. Be allowed to that's the only way you can do these and make them worthwhile. Is like
right. They're all just questions. They're just
every single time. In AEW, it's in WWE, it's the same. They're the same shows, different people. Oh, your numbers were great. Oh, the matches were all fantastic. Yada yada yada. There's no like, hey, this looked a little weird. Are they okay? Is there an injury there? Nothing. Hey, somebody else got named in a lawsuit. You want to talk about that? No. All right. Just like, I know you can't because it fucks your job up. It's not. I don't blame any of the reporters. I blame the companies that don't understand how to make this work.
I feel like this WrestleMania, Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, Survivor Series. We don't need no post show. We don't need.
Yeah, that's the Big Four need a post show. Like,
I remember when Triple H back after each takeover, Triple H would go on Facebook Live.
Yeah,
they could do that. Like shows like Backlash and all these B-level PLEs. You don't need a press conference. You don't need that. It's a waste of time.
Yeah, because that's like we don't even score them the same in fantasy wise. Like a basic regular PLE is just 8 points. That's just it. Like if you went on there, that's 8 points for you. And outside of a title match. But like the big ones, oh yeah, you're gonna get more stuff added on. But like there's no like a Facebook Live going live on something that can be on all the other platforms and y'all just take questions from there is good enough. Let him do that for an hour. It can be live on YouTube. Y'all can just like it used to be. I forgot all about those, Mike, until you said something just now. That is perfect for shows like this. Because there's no point in having us do all that. And if you want to have John Cena put R-Truth through a table, you can still do that as a digital exclusive. You can still do it as a digital exclusive. The same thing that went down. You can have somebody interviewing John Cena, and then R-Truth comes up, and it's like, hey, if you don't get out of here, I'm going to hurt you. And then he come back, he goes away, and then he comes back, and then we see him get put through a table. Like, damn. That's what happened. Digital exclusive. The end. Like, there's no point in having a 30-minute out to an hour and making them people wait around. Like, Jey Uso could have won his match, rested for like 10 to 15 minutes, and then they could have been like, hey, Jey Uso going live while Backlash is happening. Submit your question. Instead of making him wait. Instead of making that person who wrestled the first, like, instead of making Lyra wait all the way into some 10:30 at night to ask a question when she was like, what, the second match of the night?
You know that pissed her off. You know it did. Good God, I'd be furious. What do you mean I gotta wait here until 11:30? I'm done.
Like, I want to go back to the hotel.
God, Mongo hates it. I do. I hate it. It started out fun, but they've gotten bad because the moment anything happens on there and it becomes interesting, they don't let that shit happen anymore because they want to control it. Those press conferences in real sports are more interesting when the wild question gets asked and somebody has to respond, even if they don't answer it. The reaction you get, like that's when it's most interesting. I don't give a shit if you're like, oh, like LeBron, you did like 13 and 9 today. What happened at the game? I don't give a shit. But when you ask a question that makes them kind of cock their head a little bit, That's the interesting stuff, and we're just never going to get it, ever. Cookie says they won't have a reason to watch the whole 2-hour thing, but since they posted on Twitter anyway, why watch it? Yeah, because we saw the Cena Truth thing via tweet.
Because I had already stopped. I'm not watching this post show. There's nothing happened on this to this be worthy of a post show outside of like after Big E said the whole thing about ageism about between how we treat the women differently from the men. I was kind of done with the post show because that was the best moment in my opinion. Like Big E hit the nail on the head. Yeah,
he told the truth.
38 and 40, we start talking about they want to wind it down, but for the men. When they're 40, just as soon as they're hitting 40, we're saying, they're in the prime of their career. And it's like, nah, we need to chill because not all of them are going to be, not all, like every woman's biological clock is different. And with the way technology is now and with science, they can become moms whenever they feel like it. So,
yeah. Let's, I guess it's going to Raw now. Then we can get out of here. We had a few tangents today. Apologies for that.
Oh, that's all right.
You know. Let's talk about Raw real quick. Raw has a few things listed. Penta takes on Chad Gable. Gable was the first person Penta wrestled, right? In WWE. That was his debut match. So
at this point, it's just like it's either Penta or Norte, Mr. Grande Americano.
Yeah,
Mr. Large American.
How much further can the Grande Americano thing go?
I give this at least a few more weeks. We're going to get the Money in the Bank. That's where I see that petering out. Money in the Bank.
Because it's been fun, but it's really starting to lose its steam. World Raiders take on the Creed brothers. I think the winners here get a shot at the New Day's titles.
All right, we need something for the Creeds. Please let the Creeds win. If you're going to have Chad, this is another time where they always do, Triple H does some backward ass shit. He'll let Chad Gable win, but had the Creeds lose. Or had the Creeds win and let Chad Gable lose. Like if you want
it always messes up our game because then we draft based on those things and it screws up the entire draft. One team, me, makes a lot of dumb mistakes. So I'm kind of appreciative.
If you want American made to be worth a damn, let them be successful for the whole night. Don't just let the leader be winning, or don't let the leader lose and have the underlings win, or at least let them all win. Like it has to make some sort of synergy, make something make sense for them to be worth a damn.
Because every time the Creeds lose, Cable's like, you gotta be tougher. That's my guys. I know you're tough. And then they lose again. Like, what's the fuck? What's the point? Who won the chat champion? Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell y'all. So Batty and Cookies tied going into tiebreakers, and they needed the final tiebreaker. They needed because they tied on tiebreakers.
Oh shit!
And it was how many finishers are hitting the main event. Batty had 6. Cookies had 10. Batty retains.
Yep.
It was. I think it was 8. It was 8 or something like that. I had to go back and count again.
All right, then, Batty.
Batty retains. Congratulations, Batty. Damn, that was close. That was. Both us and the chat had to go to tiebreakers to pull out a winner. Back to Raw. AJ takes on Finn Balor. That should be a fun one.
We back, baby.
Io Sky and Rhea Ripley take on Roxanne and Julia. Now, this match, I don't know if this is true. I saw the screenshot. It could be fake.
I think that was fake. I know the screenshot you're talking about.
I don't think because I don't know why they would post that. I don't know why they put chat. What we're talking about is I'm pretty sure a fake screenshot's going around saying that this match ends with Julia pinning Io, and then after the match they get jumped, and then Asuka and Kairi Sane returns. Like why but why would you have that pre-done before the show happens,
right?
And then post it. So I don't think that's real, but I've seen it get shared a lot. So we're just kind of talking about it. I don't think that's happening. I think Matt's right. Probably phony.
But it's
Congratulations,
still
Patty.
happened in WWE. Like I can see that being an oopsie, but it's just like as much as that has been shared, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, even if it was real, it's not happening now.
Right.
You know, like even if that was a legit fuck up, well, now they're going to delay that shit another week or something. CM Punk goes to the mic for the first time since WrestleMania because Punk returned last week along with Sami Zayn to stop Jay from losing the world title.
Oh yeah.
Jay Uso has his yeet set on Logan Paul.
Oh.
Wow. Yo.
I didn't type it.
Yo.
Jay Uso has his yeet set on Logan Paul, written by WWE, not by Greg.
Hey,
that's one letter away from being a real sus.
Somebody was feeling real freaky typing that today.
Somebody is about to get Chris Hansen if they change the letter.
We know you do, Cookies.
We know, Cookies. I think that's going to do it for us. Unless you have anything else you want to talk about tonight.
Oh, no. Cookies is definitely sufficiently electrified.
Yeah, Cookies has kept us entertained all week or all night. We'll see y'all back here tomorrow at 6-ish. Talk about NXT and talk about what happens on Raw tonight. We did not do our Saturday show for Last of Us. We had stuff we had to do. So we're going to do a double this Friday. Me, Kenny, and Mike. Kenny's returning to join me and Mike to talk about episodes 3 and 4. Is it 3 and 4?
4 and 5.
4 and 5. Sorry, we're halfway done with the season now. Episodes 4 and 5. So if you haven't seen either one yet, you got time. Binge it and then join us on Friday. We'll be back tomorrow and then Wednesday also 6-ish. Thursday's 9-ish, where we're going to be. I don't think there's a pay-per-view this weekend unless I'm.
Oh, I don't think so. It means I'll be defending my belt.
That means Matt. That means I get to have this belt for actual whole week. Wow, isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Oh my God! Frank says, "Cookies, are you nasty?" You can also get us our personal links, Linktree and fingertip/UnderTheRingPod. You go to either one of those. You're going to get us at our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, what the hell ever. I'm at Greg Bush SK on Twitter and just Greg Bush on Blue Sky. We got Kenny at Rockers44. We've got Mr. Mike Ciampa at Mr. Freshbeard. We've got the current Matty Two Belts, Matty Reigns, the Forever Intercontinental Champion, and the Are You Fucking Serious Quiz Champion at The Right Answer. Tito, our street team captain at Borea Maliente, former champion, multi-time champion. And last but not least, our good friend and local news correspondent, Justin Devontae Baxley. Folks, have a wonderful, wonderful night. Watch sports. Watch whatever the fuck you want to watch. Just remember, do the dumb.
Peace out, Patty. Peace out.
Peace.